A land inhabited by once proud farmers and fishers, Yanxia's people have been oppressed by the imperial viceroy, Yotsuyu, along with her army. With Garleans on one side and evil spirits lurking on the other, just what is going on here? My name is Remy, and I'm gonna tell you. When you arrive to Yanxia, you survey the village of Namai from a distance. Although Rhino Vile can threaten to flatten the surrounding rice paddles, you determine everything is safe and make your presence known to the villagers. A while later, Yugiri decides you all should speak with them about what's been going on in and around Namai. However, before you can begin, Imperial Guards show up and take a few of the villagers with them. It turns out these villagers are being forced to serve Garlemald for the rest of their lives, since people who get taken don't come back. Yugiri decides to rescue the stolen villagers who are headed for Castrum Flumus. This castrum was abandoned and is now being stalked by Lin Quan in search of virgin maids and succulent babes. After stealing some uniforms from the guards and some expert cunning, you free the Doman villagers. After freeing them, you and Yugiri head back to the House of Fierce, where you receive word that Zenos Galvus is on his way to Doma, probably in suspicion of the attack on the acting viceroy that took place earlier. Yugiri decides this time is as good as any to kill the man once and for all. However, out of everyone there, you're the only one to agree to support her in the endeavor. Hiding along the rooftops of Yakuza Manor, you spot Zenos and his vanguard en route to Namai. As he makes his way through the town, your attempt upon his life fails, and you are forced to do battle. At this point, he is still much too strong for you, but instead of ending your life, he decides to spare you, telling you to live on, grow stronger, and face him once more. Yugiri makes a last-ditch effort to kill him, but gets tossed aside, and just as he's about to finish her off, Gotsetsu and Alize show up to save her. Zenos, even though he could kill you all here and now, decides to withdraw instead. With confirmation that Zenos has his eyes on Yanxia, you journey to find Lord Hien, the true son of Doma, for aid. Alphino devises a strategy in an attempt to retake Doma Castle, a palace that once stood proud among the people. The plan involves you and a party storming the palace to drive Imperial forces out, while your Ara allies strike from above, and the Kojin from the waters below. Before this plan can be put in motion, there are several other things that must be done, and after completing the mundane tasks, you and Alize wait in Monzin for the operation to kick off. Meanwhile, it seems some Namazu have disturbed a young girl's offerings left for a fox who protects the woods of Yanxia, and she would like your help gathering them back up. A short distance away, another young woman has needs of an escort, as she fears unsavory characters are following her. Her fears turn out to be truth, as On Myoju from the Hingen island of Koshu seek to kidnap the young maiden and subject her to their fell rituals of exorcism. They are eventually successful in their capture, and the nine-tailed fox spirit slumbering deep within the young maiden Mikuzume awakens and begins walking the lands. Lord Hien declares that in order to win wars, sacrifices must be made. He decides to flood the castle to eliminate the greater portion of the imperial garrisons and trap Yotsuyu within the keep. Sorbonne and his Kojin brothers are tasked with this part of the plan and begin to flood Doma Castle, drowning countless soldiers. As you make your way through Doma Castle, you fight off several Garlean forces and machines alike. In the end, you meet an old friend who has been driven mad by his quest for vengeance and transformed into a twisted mass of steel and flesh, wielding a cool-ass chainsaw gun too. Unfortunately for him, it ain't enough because you defeat the poor bastard, giving a sorrow look as he falls. At the top of Doma Castle, you find Hien and his party who have Yotsuyu at their mercy. You then learn her tragic backstory of being used by her family to help pay their debts, while at the same time being hated by them and treated like dirt by the people of Doma. In a quest for vengeance, she decided to join the Garlean forces to inflict the self-same pain and suffering on the Domans who tormented her. She then reveals that she plans on bringing the whole palace down on you all in a final bid to justice. After the ceiling comes crashing and the dust settles, you see Gotsetsu holding it up, keeping you all safe. Unfortunately, Yotsuyu survives too, and shoots Gotsetsu until her clip is empty. Struggling to hold on for much longer, he pleads for you all to leave now while you still can. And as you all escape, the keep comes crashing down on Gotsetsu and Yotsuyu's heads. Alphino, in disbelief at what just happened, is at a total loss for words. Sorbonne decides to go search the ruins for any remains and a sliver of hope that your companion may still be alive. Alas, when he returns, nothing is found, and it seems all but impossible that Gotsetsu survived. Pressing on, Lord Hien, who was raised to rule Doma, hesitates when the time comes to address his countrymen. However, with your encouragement, He pulls it together and tells his people that the days ahead will not be easy, and they must come together to rebuild their broken nation. Of course, no body means no death, and it's learned that both Gotsetsu and Yotsuyu survived their ordeal, drifting for days along the sea and becoming stranded on an island after being plunged into the One River. This river is the main source of fish for the people of Yanxia, and is constantly being overrun by ruby sea sharks that travel along the streams to feed. Even Namazu like Gyogun find themselves defending their catch from Koja, evil spirits that would like nothing more to feed on the catfish himself. Meanwhile, Yotsuyu appears to be suffering from memory loss, and Lord Hien is at a moral dilemma as to whether he should execute her for her past crimes. It seems the Empire has caught word that Yotsuyu lives, because they send an envoy to come retrieve her from Yanxia. Asahi, Yotsuyu's brother, is the leader of this envoy, and decides to take a tour of Yanxia, his old homeland. After seeing Monzen destroyed by his sister's doing, and possibly some Namazu interference as well, he declares his determination to put an end to the conflict between Doma and the Empire. Lord Hien agrees to hand Yotsuyu over, but only if her memory returns by the appointed hour. He also demands that the hostages taken from Namai are returned unharmed. Asahi consents and requests to speak privately with his sister. Afterwards, you all escort him back to his ship for departure, but before he leaves, he decides to have a quick word with you, and issues a very ominous threat. Through the power of the Echo, you learn that he is an admirer of Lord Zenos. Shocked by all of this, you tell everyone what just happened as the airship is leaving. Hien isn't even surprised, but would rather have his people return first before dealing with Asahi. Back at the Enclave, a bedridden Gotsetsu is making his recovery, being tended to by Yotsuyu, whose memory still hasn't returned. After being convinced that her plight is genuine, Lord Hien allows Yotsuyu to live out her days in Doma. However, when the time comes to show Asahi that her condition is true, Yotsuyu turns up missing, seemingly headed for Namai. It turns out she's only there to pick up some fruit for Gotsetsu, although she causes a scene with the people who remember her all too well. The fear of her arrival in the village may invoke the stories of Songsi, a crimson cloudkin that kidnaps children by calling out in an eerily woman-like voice, only to then tear their limbs off to feed to its fledglings. Upon return to the Doman Enclave, Lord Hien ponders on what's to come from the meeting with Asahi. Sometime later, you are approached by Soroban, who in the midst of his training needs to retrieve the Tamate Bako of Geomancy, an ancient relic capable of manipulating time. This relic can only be found in the Swallow's Compass, a holy place that has been abandoned and fell into despair following the Imperial invasion. It was once a royal mausoleum where geomancy was practiced freely under the tutelage of Ganon, the founder of geomancy and the legendary hero who united Doma. The events that transpire after retrieval of the ancient relic is best left for another time. Later at Cashman Flumus, you meet with the Popularis delegation, and as the meeting takes place, you notice several crates around. Suddenly, Yotsuyu appears, and looking like her old self, she declares her intent to rule over Doma once more. It turns out Asahi gave his sister a Kojin relic during their private talk, and as she makes her speech, the crates fly open, exposing several crystals. Drawing on their power, Yotsuyu begins to transform into the primal Tsukiyomi. Obviously, by summoning a primal, she is labeled a traitor to the Empire, and an enemy of the Scions. Through an intense fight, you overcome the power Tsukiyomi has over Yotsuyu in her despair, and after the fight ends, Yotsuyu is unfortunately shot by Asahi, who believes he should have been the one to rule over Doma, not her. Using her last bit of strength, though, she kills her brother, and finally satiates the hunger for vengeance she's had for so long. Upon your return to the Enclave, you find Gotsetsu. He tells you and friends that he will be living out his remaining days as a traveler, and as he departs, you look on as once separated families of Doma reunite at last. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed that video, go ahead and subscribe, leave a like, and let me know what you thought of Yotsuyu's ending in the comments below, because if you ask me, it's pretty damn tragic. Anyway, I'll see you in the next one. Take care.